In this video, we're going to explore what it looks like to let go. If you've ever struggled to create art, to express yourself, to release the project that you've spent most of your life working on, believe me, you're not alone. This is my journey for years, and even up to this day. I've made things and held off on releasing them and publishing them, even though I don't have any use for it myself. I know it's time to release, I know it's time to let go and publish that thing, post that song, make that Instagram, whatever the output may look like. I know it's time to release it, and yet I sit and I do nothing, and it sits on my laptop or in my mind for years. If you watched videos from my channel before, you might have picked up on the fact that I'm a practicing Christian, and while my goal isn't to enforce my beliefs on you or my worldview, there's a helpful concept in Christian belief, and the process is called death to self. Die to self. I have it on my shirt. See, as a Christian, what I believe is that we come into this world with a nature that's built for destruction and death. It's called our sin nature, our false self, our old man. And the journey in our Christian tradition is to continually put off the old man, to continually die to self, to that former self that used to live. So how does this apply to our creative ideas and releasing the work that you've finished? I think it's the exact same process. And I think the implication all throughout the creative process, there's life, but there's also death. And the death is the unfun, non-flashy part that we often don't want to discuss or talk about. You don't see it on social media. You don't see the songs that never make it. You don't see the intense, grueling process of a very talented singer, songwriter, musician, of what it took for them to become what they are today. You don't see the process, the death, but you see the results and you benefit from them every day. And so what we need to learn to understand as creatives is that with every win, with every success that we experience, every breakthrough that we have creatively, there's the shadow side, the death, the thing that we've had to let go, the false belief, the false self, the old man that we have to put off in order to receive the new life. I remember death being a huge factor in the process of creating and releasing my first album. Now, if you go back and listen to it, if I go back and listen to it, there's so many flaws, there's so many imperfections, things that I did wrong. But the thing that I did right was release it. I can say that confidently because I don't think that any other creative thing that I've done up to this point would be possible without me first saying yes and bringing this album to life. And the biggest way that I had to die to myself in the process of creating and distributing this album was the false belief and false identity that I'm unqualified to do this. What's up, hon? I'm shooting a little video. See, the idea I had of the music creation and releasing process up to that point is that in order to make an album, the album has to be chart topping, that the album has to be reviewed by an internet reviewing person that we all know, that the album has to be externally significant, that I have to be externally significant in order for me to even consider going about the process of creating and releasing something like this. And that's just not true. I think for far too many of us creatives, that's the problem that's been holding you back. That's the problem that held me back. And it was only through the process of creating and releasing this album and realizing none of those things were true, that I'm perfectly qualified, it's perfectly okay for me to distribute and release this project on my own terms, that I don't need the external validation. It took that for me to realize the lies that I'd been holding on to and believing. I'm not sure what that lie you're believing as a creative is for you. What version of your false self, your old man that you're holding on to that's holding you back from new life offered to you. But I want to invite you to consider that on the other side of death is life, and life abundantly. So very clearly breaking this down, what does self represent when we say die to self? Self represents your comfort. It represents old, outdated ideas. It represents the internal voice telling you you're never going to be enough. The voice is ultimately unbelief. And what's the reason that that old self must die? It's so that we can have the new life. It's because on the other side of death, there's always life. Think about the cost and the consequence of continuing to believe lies about yourself, of continuing to walk in patterns of what the people around you think instead of what you are being led and drawn to do and create. 5 years down the road, you're probably living in the wrong area, working a job that just gets you by, and probably have a plethora of things in your life that you do to cope with the fact that you haven't acted on this creative unction. And I'm not trying to scare you or make you afraid. You can definitely live life that way. Many people do. Most people live life this way. But I'm trying to offer the perspective and thought to you that there's more on the other side of death, that there's life and life abundant on the other side of the difficult decision of shedding who you are today. Because by putting off the old man, as we say, you get to put on the new man. That the small voice inside of your head saying you were made for more could actually be true, could actually be real. That more than prideful ambition, this voice is the divine calling out to you, pleading with you to become everything that you're meant to be. And that decision can only be found on the other side of death. With that, good luck and happy dying this week. Hopefully by watching my videos, you're going to get the worth and the value of becoming the highest form of creative person that you could ever hope or aspire to be. Ultimately, I hope that you know you are loved so much. Have a great week. See you in the next one. Peace.